All right, folks, welcome on back here this Friday, October 22nd. Finally, to wrap up our week here. Welcome on back here, of course, at this time of the day for our afternoon meeting live inside the Cybergroup trading room. I got Leda here still sticking with us here. Lakshmana, one of our trial members, joining us here as well, including Alex. We have Neil, who picked up some good money just earlier on his trade. I got Tina here going over the Mark stock. And alongside them, of course, hey, if you're joining us on social media today, Facebook Live or YouTube, as always, welcome on back. So to begin, for all of us inside Cybergroup, there should still be a lot sticking with us here heading into this particular market close because of, obviously the day that we had from yesterday, the day today. Let me ask you though, I'm in one trade right now. I'm in one stock, and hopefully as I go through this meeting, it only continues to go up. But I'm in one stock right now, one trade. Can you folks guess what stock that is? Leda guessing PROG, Norman guessing PHUN. All right, any other takers? Mark says Norman as well. Charles guessing the DWAC. Well, here's the thing. I know our students pretty well, right? Because I'm not going to ask this question if it wasn't a loaded question. Now, normally when I ask this type of question, we all answer the same stock because that's right. It's usually just one stock that we've all had our eye on throughout the whole morning, the whole afternoon, and that's it. But you folks played right into my hand, each and every one of you, because you all gave a different answer. Today is one of the more historic days to be inside our live trading room. Really, I mean, just based off the DWAC trade yesterday and the day before, that honestly, that being, one of the biggest moves that we've ever caught inside the Cybergroup room. Well, it wasn't just that. It was the PHUN stock. It was the CRTD stock. It was the BENE stock. It was the ZGYH stock. It was the, anything else, right? Now to answer the question, I'm in PHUN. So for those that guessed PHUN, you ended up guessing the correct stock. This stock here is making a really nice... Oh, is it getting halted? Uh-oh. Give me a sec here, folks. I actually just got knocked off TradeStation Live as I did this meeting. Hopefully it's not a Wi-Fi disconnect. I should be good to go. I think I'm still good to go live inside the meetings, but that's never fun. Uh-oh. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to try and reshuffle some things around here. And that's not too fun here, folks. Give me a quick sec. I guess I have to log off, log back on. I'm going to take myself off screen share inside the live trading room. I am going to take myself off screen share on the YouTube, Facebook Live stream. I don't know what's going on here, folks. That's a first. Give me a split second. I'm going to try and just do a quick log out, log back in from my end. I still believe I'm good to go on the meeting. See if this connects. If not, then we could be in for a small little issue here. This is actually the second time today that this actually knocked me off. I don't know if it's because of how much volatility we have within this market, but folks, I'm good to go. I'm going to just give me about like 10, 15 seconds. I'm going to get the screen sharing back up again. Whew, that scared the crap out of me. All right, let's get YouTube up first. My apologies, guys. All right, YouTube up. And trading room up. Are we good? I think we're good. I don't know what happened there. Well, we'll try and continue. All right. So, well, for those that guessed PHUN, you are correct. Let's try and go through this trade rather quickly. I'm in this trade from 8 right away. So I'm up a lot already. I don't know if this just reopened up off a halt, but it had a huge spike up to 980 just a moment ago and back down. This stock is following the DWAC trade pretty nicely. So let me add that to my 1-minute chart if I can. Let's see. We'll do a quick zoom out altogether. You can see for the most part, they were trading relatively the same. Patrick, it happened to you. William, it happened to you as well. All right, so I'm not alone there on that TradeStation credit. That was odd. All right, well, we're back up. Now, you could see for the most part, though, the PHUN trade has been, following to a great degree the DWAC. Of course, we're going to put both on our main watch list right now. I'm going to try and run through this meeting so I don't freeze up again. But the DWAC, PHUN, both, needless to be said, we'll put both back on the watch list. PHUN well more within our price range, and that's definitely one of the reasons as to why I chose this stock heading into this meeting to begin. But to actually show you why I was looking at 8 as a big level, I was calling out 9 at first, and I was like, God, I got pretty fortunate. I survived a really big shake on the way down. I think it was like around here. And I ended up getting out practically break even, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever, made like a tiny amount of money. But it's to say that I had a fib extension level up here. I want to show you this because I feel really confident about the entry that I took. I feel pretty confident about a continued move up heading into the afternoon, but I ended up basing it off of these fib extension levels here. And, well, pretty interestingly enough, I mean, it crashed under this blue line, the 38.2%, line on from fib extension. But I ended up going under and over from 8. So once it broke back over 8, I jumped in the trade, and this thing just launched. So that's the reason why I took the trade I took. And for right now, we'll put both on the main watch list. I know that PHUN has their warrants. There's a bunch of warrants out there. I guess the cat's out of the bag on those, based off what we saw based on the DWAC yesterday. So I'm not going to confuse all of us and put every one of those warrants up. The ZGYH stock, I don't know what's going on with that. We'll check out that in particular, the stock, not the warrant. But yeah, this one's done for right now, at least. This one's not nearly making as good of a move back up compared to PHUN. Damn, all the warrants are just taking over the gainers list here, really. CRTD, another stock from earlier this morning at least, ended up making a big pop as soon as the market opened up but pulled back. Tony says, curious what your stop was when you got in. Once I got in the trade, it started to lift up right away. So it's like, I set my stop under 780. I'm up a decent amount on the morning. So, if I was at ground zero, that would be different. But I felt pretty confident, at least with the entry. And once it popped, I knew I was in a pretty good position. All right, but CRTD right now, kind of similar to that ZGYH. It's not making that great of a move for us right now at this time. The BENE trade, same thing, complete dump off. So a lot of these ended up making a sharper squeeze up and down in a shorter amount of time. Like trying to quickly go through the gainers list and see some stocks, but not warrants here. The Grom trade was a nice move from earlier today. That was also one that popped after the market opened up. I guess it's kind of crawling back up right now, but another big move after the open from 4 to high of the day, right off of 7 practically. All right, PROG, I guess I didn't miss out too much on this trade. This one we ended up calling out, of course, from the morning. This actually blew our expectations out the water, but, I'll tell you, I called out this stock only because it was kind of squeaking its head back above the opening bell print price right off of 231. So I ended up jumping in right here. I loaded up cheap stock at 230. And, there was an iceberg at 260. I took half out. I was expecting a false breakout. But holy smokes, the roof blew off this trade out of nowhere. So I got out a little bit after on the second half at 3. I was expecting a shake from there. Ended up moving up enough to where it got halted, and then thankfully I wasn't in the trade at that point because when it did reopen up, man, it got crushed. Ended up dropping down to 260, that same level I talked about. But right now, pretty flat. I was in this trade just before, right off 283. I got out at 88, and I wasn't really expecting much. But right after I got out, it popped, and I thought I was going to miss out. So I came back to it here. At least didn't really miss out on too much. All right, we got Bitcoin to talk about briefly. We'll do that at the end of the meeting. Of course, we didn't talk about that really since Monday. Wow, look at this. Just looked at this just to wrap up the gainers list here. But CMPS, I don't know. It's got a thin order book, but the chart impressed me. I was looking at first, $38 stock, but really making a good push. I don't know. I mean, the order book kind of makes me disinterested. It's a Friday still, as much as we always say it's a Friday. We had a pretty stellar Friday so far, but we don't want to really get ahead of ourselves in that regard. Leda had a nice trade just now with me on the PHUN stock. She got about 35 cents on it. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list. We'll see what's over there. The MTCR stock. Unfortunately, this right back down now. Believe it or not, this stock actually is shortable. So, I don't know if Fausto would put this on the list himself, but I would be keen because I'll tell you, I mean, listen, we don't really find stocks hard to borrow below $5 to begin with. Secondly, stocks that are easy to borrow that are down 57%. And I think this is all-time lows as well. I'll double check that on the daily chart. Yeah, all-time lows. So hey, there's no historical support on this stock. We were more hoping for that, dead cat bounce earlier today. I definitely was, and I took the trade, but it was very lackluster. So I got out. I actually missed the spike here at the time, but back down it goes. It is shortable. So in my opinion, I don't think this is too close to zero. Meaning, listen, the cheaper it gets, I'm definitely not going to become as interested in it because there's not going to be enough opportunity. It's pretty flat, but it's at the lows. So you know what? Might not be the top stock on the watch list so far. I think the PHUN trade looks great. I know Fausto was commenting on the swing trade that he's in. I think on BJ's DWAC. Obviously, it's on our list still. But I'll add the MTCR. Listen, if you want to try and practice on a short, it's got a really tight spread, cheap stock, liquid order book. Maybe you could say the same on OCUL, but a little more expensive. So maybe there could be more opportunity on the breakdown there. I'll come back to it. Well, the more expensive we go, Snapchat at the low of the day right now. So, listen, Snap's more of a name brand stock. If you tend to trade the more expensive stocks, then, I would definitely figure that you would be more interested in trading Snap than into the close. I'm more interested in the PHUN stock. I'm more interested even maybe in PROG if that can get back up to 3. Check that one out perhaps at the end. The MTCR even as well. So I'll pass on this, but it's dropping off pretty nicely. It's making a good move on the way down. Talk about what makes the percent gainers list one day, making the percent losers list the next, right? So we had the gap fill on this stock yesterday. We did really well on this trade heading into the close, got in off 922. I think we got a clean dollar on it. We scaled out half, but got the other half out with a dollar profit. And then for right now, this thing took a huge hit. It is shortable, but I don't know. Right now, not a whole lot happening really on EAR. This Intel dropped off this morning. F-Cell dropped off today too. I didn't really see this one. This one kind of flew under the radar. AEHR also did as well. We ended up trading this stock on the way up as it was breaking all-time highs earlier in the month. Pretty interesting to see it down just about 11% now. All right, so there we go on YouTube for all of us guessing, at least from when I started the meeting, what stock I was in. You guys were guessing the DWAC and PHUN. I was checking there. From Skip, he's asking, any word on Wework? Is that WE? There we go. That's what I figured. All right, Wework, it's up 7.5%. It's just got too skimpy of an order book. Looking at level 3, it's got too big of a spread, too thin of orders out there collectively across the gainers and losers list. So, I don't know. We'll check in with it maybe come Monday, but I'd pass on it right now. Not really much to write home about on this trade. And hey, no problem in saying that. You can say that about probably 90%, probably about 99% of the stocks that we could scan for here otherwise. Check back in on Mark, M-A-R-K. I forgot about this one. I don't think I really went over this one as I went through the gainers list, but ended up making a run, at least I should say, and a halt on the way up. I ended up making a second halt on the way up. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it got halted on the way down, albeit it dropped off. But hey, making a move back up here for the meantime. So, yeah, Mark, I feel remiss to not put this on the list here. Check out the signals page from Benzinga Pro. I have no problem showing that to you folks here right now. These are all stocks that are breaking. Whoops, I got to reload this guy. That's why. There we go. I didn't realize that was frozen. This is a list of stocks that are breaking the highs of the day right now. ME is actually one that we're pretty familiar with. GERN, but I don't really see that popping up a lot there. Kind of scrolling through. I don't really see too many known names outside of that ME trade. I guess I'll look at that. Oh, shoot, funds dropping off a little bit there. Small little shake under and over 9. Nah, listen, it's at the high of the day, but it's back to right where it had closed yesterday. I don't know if it's as likely to make a giant pop and run into the close, but, hey, if it ends up moving up a little bit more, showing more signs of life, I guess at that point we would call it out. But I like what we have on the watch list so far, though, folks. If there's anything else up, down, left, right, definitely let me know. And in the meantime, I'm going to just put up my Bitcoin chart Got a wonky mouse right now too, cursor mouse, I should say. I gotta check that out. All right, so wait for it. If I can load it up, Bitcoin. All right. So on Bitcoin here, what I really want to go over is basically, given where we had left off from Monday this week, we ended up, breaking a new all-time high. We ended up going up as high as just about 68,000, pulled back down, ended up dropping back down. I mean, practically towards 60K and a little bit underneath there for a moment, I think. But, hey, that can scare a lot of us that are new to Bitcoin, that are just getting into it. One of us messaged me earlier today and he had a good price on it, but he said, hey, I just put my first $5,000 into Bitcoin. I said, congrats, that's awesome. But I'm still very long term on it. So listen, if it ends up dropping off, consolidating from here, no sweat. We ended up talking about this, I think, last week, where I showed, one of the guys I follow on Twitter, Plan B, and he was talking about the monthly closes of Bitcoin, and he has nailed it from late June. And his close projection for the month of October, I think, was 63,000. All right, so it might drop off a little bit after it broke that all-time high. It might pull back to 60K, might pull under 60K, but at least from his projection, he's projecting it to close at the end of October above or near, right at 63K. So we'll see. We'll take every day in stride, but for right now, hey, I have fib extension levels up. I ended up drawing it right from the dip point back from late July, right around 30K. Up to the peak point here from early September and then back down. So, if we kind of use this as a quick projection, it kind of moved all the way up kind of in between the 100% and 138% level here. But otherwise on a pullback, maybe it could pull back as low. And, hey, if it pulls back as low here, I'll probably buy right around 58.5, 58.4. That could line up pretty nicely, pretty handsomely with the 500 EMA on the hourly chart I have. So that's food for thought. If it doesn't do that and holds here and then skyrockets up, if it ends up blowing that expectation, that 63,000 close by the end of October projection out the water, God bless. That's a good time to be wrong. So, nonetheless, at this point here, should it drop down towards 59, 58K, I'm probably going to buy. But if it ends up holding here and shooting back up, no sweat. That's fine by me. I'll take it either way. All right, folks. I think that just about does it for me. I got a wacky cursor here. Like I said, I got to unplug and replug a couple things on my end. But let me know if there's anything else that I ended up missing here. Got to get out on PHUN pretty soon. It looks like dropping down to 880. If it holds here and spikes up one more time, then perfect. But I'll probably take profits here relatively soon. All right, I think that just about does it, folks. Just about 4 stocks so far on the main watch list. For as much as we saw a lot of things run up earlier today, there are a few things that are still pretty active. Again, what we have on the watch list is what we should start with. But those that we didn't put on the watch list that did move from earlier, there's a reason why I didn't put them on the watch list. They already dumped back down. It's not nearly as likely for them to rebound and move up. So, hey, start and stick with this list. If there's anything else that ends up making a really nice move that you end up seeing, then at that point you call it out. But, otherwise at 3 o'clock, 3:15, we'll be back on the mic. And then, at that point, I always like to say, we'll kind of rescan the market a lot more seriously from there. All right. Hey, for all of us the last couple of days inside the live trading room, I appreciate you folks understanding at least the fact that we were at the Trader Summit here in Long Island for all of us there. That's mainly where our focus was. So, things are back to normal, back to usual at least, so no worries on that. But thank you folks for understanding. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, if you folks have any questions that you would like to ask, feel more than free to do so. I'm going to type my email address here in the chat board just to wrap up. But otherwise, enjoy the weekend. And if you're interested in joining us on Monday or across that next week, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the banner below the stream there just to get yourself started. All right, folks, enjoy the weekend. We'll catch back up with everyone on Monday. Take care.